you are hearing my voice, that's me. That's me. All right. But just that for some reason this morning my camera is just not working, and so you might want to pray for me. Pray that my internet is also strong because I'm up in the mountain in Baguio City, and that is the mountainous area of the Philippines. It's a beautiful place. It's cold, not cold, it's cool, and it's mountainous, and I'm just enjoying myself here. But the internet is not very strong, obviously, and for some reason my camera doesn't work. But you know what they always say? The show must go on in spite of. Amen. All right, if you are okay with this, seeing my picture on the slide instead of seeing will rail me on it, give me a thumbs up to make sure that okay, you're okay with that picture on the slide. That picture on the slide, you're okay. All right, give me a comment and say that you're okay and that you're not frustrated by anything. Keep praying for me and pray that the Lord will keep us strong in the internet and that I can deliver this message today. All right, I'm still in Baguio. This is so beautiful. About 15 years ago, I came. The last time I came here was 15 years ago, and it is still amazing. I always love this place. And I'm here to conduct a 2-day mental health conference at Asia Pacific Theological Seminary. It was packed to the brim, and the people were coming, to attend this conference. And it ended yesterday, and today is a day of break for me on Saturday, and tomorrow I'll be speaking in 5 services in the church tomorrow. Whoa. Well, start at 9 and finish at 5 tomorrow. Well, pray for me. Just remember to pray for me, okay? Pack. The people were just packing in to attend this mental health conference. It shows the need, all over the world about mental health. And so there were about almost 240 attendees, and they all came from all parts of the north region of Philippines. And on the 10th of October, the 10th of 10, I will be conducting a mental health seminar. It happened to be World Mental Health Day on 10th of October. I will be conducting a seminar on cultivating mental health, mental fortitude and resilience in Kota Kinabalu, another of my favorite cities. So if you are in Kota Kinabalu, please come and attend this. It's going to be held at Grandis Hotel, 30 ringgit. You can go to our website, or you can contact Jesse Fang, and the number is there. I'm going to put up on our Wave chat group, and then so that you can also sign up. All right, so I hope to see you on the 10th of October in Kota Kinabalu. Today we're going to continue the series on chasing the wind. And it's a study on the book of Ecclesiastes. And so far we have been going through for the past 5 weeks. Today is week number 6, and we're going to talk about the good life. Okay, I hope you're still with me, even though you're not seeing the live person talking to you. But that picture of me, I think should suffice. That should suffice. I'm laughing to myself. I'm not sure whether you're laughing. All right, we talk about chapter 1 where Solomon is I call it the Solomonism, his philosophy of life. He says that everything is meaningless, everything things that we do, things that we work so hard for is all meaningless. And he called the word meaningless is Hevel, Hevel. And we started the series with this. What does it mean? Meaningless, because hedonism means, pleasure is temporary, education is limited. We can never know everything. Victories, vocations, they're all vanquishable. They can be taken away from us. Extermination, that's E, is inevitable. One day we will die. And then, when we die, life goes on without us. If we die today, tomorrow the sun will continue to rise, the wind continue to blow, the rivers continue to flow. The question is, when you die, where do you go? So you do not know where you are going, then everything that you do right now as you are alive are just meaningless, according to this philosophy that I call Solomonism. But he said that if you live under the heavens, not under the sun, then things can be meaningful. And so he said that because you can do everything, you can even enjoy your life here, you can live your life responsibly and know where you are heading when you finish your journey in this world. And so he said that things can be meaningful. We can enjoy our life by securing our future when we depart from this place by fearing God, by trusting God, by sharing more, whatever that God bless us with. Fear God doesn't mean that we are afraid of God. Fear God means we love God. We don't want God to be upset with us. That's fear, because we love God so much. So that fear causes us to sin less. To trust God means we can stress less. To share more means we can grieve less. In essence, we can be happy in doing all these things. So we can be happy while practicing fearing God, trusting God, sharing more of our lives by honoring God, by accepting our lot in life, by posturing beyond what is going on now, practicing gratitude and yearning forward, right? God makes such people so busy enjoying their life that they take no time to think about their past. So we need to learn to view forward. And last week we talked about how we can be champion in God. So champion in God means we need to have character. We need to be humble. Sometimes we need to receive that rude awakening from God to wake us up, to tell us that something is not right, so that we can move on in the right direction. And we need to live life with moderation, and we need to stay connected with God through prayer and praise. And today we can do all these things, and yet we can have the good life. So if you miss all these earlier series episodes, you want to rewatch it. If you have watched them before, you want to rewatch this, hey, you can rewatch them. It's on our website, fredtalk.org. You can sign up and register with us, and we will send you all the videos. The good life. Today we covered Ecclesiastes chapter 9. These two I carefully explored, he said. Solomon said, even though the actions of the godly and the wise are in God's hand, no one knows better whether God will show them favor. It doesn't, God has his purpose. God has his purpose. Even though we may be living in this world, we may be wise, it doesn't guarantee, God's favor in us. The same destiny ultimately awaits everyone, whether righteous or wicked, good or bad, ceremonially clean or unclean, religious or irreligious. Good people receive the same treatment as sinners. And the people who make promises to God are treated like God, who are like people who don't. And then he says, it seems so wrong that everyone under the sun suffers the same fate. Already twisted by evil, people choose their own mad course, for they have no hope. There is nothing ahead but death anyway. Then he said this, but he who is joined with all the living has hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. Wow. No matter how fierce you are as a lion, no matter how good you are as a teacher or a professor, whatever, you know what? When you're dead, even a living dog is better than you. So we need to learn how to live our life well. And in chapter 11, verse 9, he also said this, young people, if you're young, and we all are young, as long as we are alive, we are young. It's wonderful to be young. Enjoy every minute of it. Do everything you want to do. Take it all in. But, as a big but here, remember that you must give an account to God for everything you do. Right? Essentially, he says that all of us who live under God, God has his purpose. And all of us, whether we are drunkard, we are murderer, we are religious, we are family people, you know what? We all have the same fate. Whether you pray, you don't pray, one day you will die. That's the same fate. That's what Solomon is trying to reiterate again. He said this in chapter 1 and 2, and now he's saying it all again. He says, it seems unfair that if we pray to God all the time, yet we die like those who don't, those who live their lives like a murderer, a killer, a drunkard, yet, we receive the same fate. But this is the way God designed life to be. You see, then we need to learn how to live the good life rather than complaining about life being unfair. I pray to God, yet I die. No, it's part of the journey called life. And you know what? As we sojourn in this journey, we can live the good life. As I written in the synopsis for this morning lessons, I wrote that living the good life depends on many factors, on like how we live, what our childhood experiences are, and what character strengths we value in ourselves and others. While the details of all these factors have been debated thousands and thousands of years, what does it mean a good life? There are consensus about what a good life. I'm going to share with you four consensus, four keys. Good life doesn't mean, trying to live to the nines, sharing all the branded goods and all that. And if you can afford it, good for you. But if you are cheating people like this couple in Singapore, they cheated millions of people of their orders of all these branded goods and all that. That's not a good life because they have to hide. Eventually, they were exposed and they have to hide. Hiding from the police, hiding from the people that you're cheated. That's not living a good life. That's not living a good life. And eventually, they were caught. And the same thing with this Thailand popular YouTuber Nutty, right? She fled, right? After cheating millions of dollars in the Forex scam. You know what? She's still in the hiding. When you have to hide, you're not living life to the full. Okay, sometimes we said, oh, when we were young, like a man said, when I was younger, I was dying to grow up, and when I was dying to graduate, and after I graduate, I'm dying to get a good job. After you get a good job, I'm dying to get married, and after he got married, I'm dying to get a new house, and then he got a new house. I'm dying to be the CEO of a company, and he got that position at the CEO company, and one day he said, I am dying. All his life he was dying to do something, but he said, I forgot to live. I'm trying to have this, I'm trying to do this, I'm dying to get that and all that, but he forgot to live. We need to learn how to live well. Like this man, he saved up all his money so that he can enjoy cruise to reward himself. His wife died 2 years earlier, and he was lonely, and he saved every penny that he had, so that he felt that, oh, I need to escape from my home. I need to travel and enjoy the cruise. I heard that going on a cruise is a wonderful experience. So he packed his bag, and he also packed all his canned food and every food and snacks and drinks that he can. He brought it on board the ship, and then he says, "Ooh, this is life." And he walked around the ship and all that. And then during meal times, he then cooked in his room. He didn't realize that the price that he paid for the cruise include the meals, all the meals. We all know, some of us may have gone through a cruise, that there are many restaurants. You can visit one and the next one and all that. It's all included in the package. He did not know, he did not realize that it was included in the package. So every meal time, he went back to his room and he cooked his Maggi noodles and he cooked his spam and then eat his bread and snacks and all that. And then he walked around and all that. And as he walked around, walk past the theater, and the usher was asking, "So you want to come in and watch the theater?" Also, he said, "I didn't buy the ticket." And the usher was puzzled. "What tickets?" "Yeah, I just bought the ticket for the cruise." He said, "No, your price include this theater." He said, "Really?" Wow. So he walked in, he enjoyed himself. After watching the movie, he went back to his room and went to cook again. And on the day when on the last day when they were about to depart, and he packed his bag, and one of the server came to his room and asked if he needs any help. He said no. And when the server asked, "How was your experience?" He said, "Good. And thank God, and I was able to bring all my food and ate here and all that." And the usher was puzzled. Why did you eat? What did you have to cook here? So, well, I did not pay for the food. I just paid for the cruise. He said, "No, your fare is including all the meals." And he was like, what? Oh dear, wow, he missed all the cuisines that he could have enjoyed. Sometimes our life is like that. We thought that we are not able to enjoy our life and not able to have a good life because we don't deserve it. God says, "I come that you might have a life and life to the full. The young people have this abbreviation called YOLO. YOLO, YOLO. Come on, guys, YOLO. YOLO means you only live once, but that's not true. You live every day. Every day when you wake up, you live. You only die once. Your door. You only die once, and then you have to find out where you go after that. You live every day, and since you live every day, you might as well live the good life. There are four consensus, four keys. As a psychologist, usually I measure, diagnose my patient with depression or some psychological dysfunctionality based on these four keys, whether they are living in a good life. And despite all the negativity, when Solomon started in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 1 to 4 to 3, and he said all this about life being unfair and all that. Then he went on to say that, hey, we can actually enjoy our life. We can actually have a good life in spite of the fact that we may share the same fate to people who may not be religious, people who may live their lives as a con artist, as a cheat. So if you want to live a good life, he said this, number one, you need to have a good social life. A good social life represents a good family life as well. Living the good life means we are surrounded by family and friends. If you have everything that you can get because you can afford, but you have no friends, no family, you're not living the good life. You see, in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 9, he said this, live happily with the woman that you love. Through all the meaningless days of life that God has given you under the sun, the wife God gives you is your reward for all your earthly toil. Obviously, he's also mentioning, okay, wife, you also need to live happily with the man that you love, because this is God's blessings for you. So if you can have a happy marriage, or you can have, if you're not married, if you have great friendship, you know what? You can live happily. In Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21, Solomon again wrote this. He says, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receive favor from the Lord. That means, hey, if we have someone that we can love and be loved, you know what, this is good. He said, we found what is good, because when there's a happy spouse, there's a happy house. You know, some people say happy wife, happy life. But hey, husband is included in a relationship, right? So happy spouse, happy house. Now, does marriage make us happy? Well, according to Harvard professor Daniel Gilbert, he said yes. It's not marriage that makes you happy. It's happy marriage that makes you happy. Right? So marrying doesn't just make you happy. A happy marriage will make you happy. That means you got to work hard. He says you got to love the wife that you marry, that you love. You got to work on this so hard to make it work, to make your marriage life happy. Married people are happier than unmarried ones, perhaps because the single predictor of human happiness is the quality of social relationships. Marriage seems to buy you a decade or more of happiness. Woo-hoo. Now, it doesn't matter if you're not married. If you have good friends, good people around you, they're surrounded by people around you, woo, then, you know, you can be happy. You can live a good life because you can share your life with others, and others can share their lives with you. But if you're married, you have an unhappy marriage, and you are quarreling, having conflict all the time, that doesn't represent a good life. You know what? Marital conflict can cause stress in children. So if we are unhappy in our marriage, we quarrel, we fight, it becomes toxic. You know what? It will affect our children. It says this conclusion comes from a study by researchers at Auburn University and the Catholic University of America. They said that children who live under a toxic environment, the parents are fighting all the time, they grow up to become more anxious and have greater propensity for psychological problems. Hey, even you're married or you're in a relationship or you have friendship, this thing applies. This thing applies. Okay. You know, relationship doesn't just happen between me and my wife. Happy relationship has this thing called healthy triangulation. Healthy triangulation means me and my wife need to connect, and both of us individually need to connect with God. And when we are connected with God, then we are one in spirit, right? Now, That is what holding us together. The triangle. I'm sorry, my camera is not on. Otherwise, I can show you the triangle on my hand. You see, the thing is, it's not just me and my wife working hard. The both of us need to work. It's not just me and my wife need to work hard on building our marriage, our relationship. We need to have a healthy relationship with God, because that's the glue to our marriages. That's the glue to all your relationships. That's the glue to all your friendships that you got. So that's how we build healthy relationship. We want to include God into our lives. And then in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 8, it says, let your garments always be white and let your head lack no oil. Now, what he is saying here, essentially, my interpretation says, if you wear white clothes, as in my picture, I put on the white, white vest, when white represent what, right? White represent purity, right? If you want to build a good relationship, right, be pure, be honest, be trustworthy, and groom yourself well, comb your hair, don't like any oil, don't be grumpy, don't be grouchy looking and all that. So you make yourself presentable so that you can, honor your friends when you meet them. If your friends come and meet you without, showering, without grooming themselves, brushing their teeth and all that, sometimes it can be an insult. You take people for granted. He says that, hey, you want to love your wife, you want to have better relationship, let your garment always be white, be pure. Don't cheat people like these people, right? Obviously, they may have enjoyed well for a moment. You know what? They will lose all their friends. They lost their reputation. They lost the trust of all their friends. Sociability is the first key to measure whether you have a good life or not. We ought to have friends, or we ought to have healthy relationships. If you're married, we ought to have healthy marriages. Oh, it's occupation. Having a good life means we are gainfully employed, right? Living the good life means we are gainfully employed. And to know that we have a job at the end of the year, at the end of the month, then we have, we are being rewarded with our salaries, then we can enjoy and we can pay our mortgages and all that. Hey, be grateful for that. Enjoy your work that God has given you. Give thanks that you are gainfully employed. I know of many in the third world country who long for any jobs so that they can feed their family. If you have a job, be happy about it. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10, he says, whatever, someone can type whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead where you are going, there's neither working nor planning, or knowledge, no wisdom. Remember, the living dog is better than a dead lion. And so if you have a job, whatever that job may be, learn to love that job, learn to appreciate that job, and learn to love the job that you have, that you are, whatever that you're doing, right? In Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 12, Solomon continues to say, people can never predict when hard times might come. Like fish in a net or birds caught in a trap. People are caught by sudden tragedy. So if you have a job, then you can save money, then you can learn to live well, so that during hard times, like during the COVID, you know what? We are ready. We are prepared. We have savings. We have a buffer in that sense. You work hard, enjoy your work, be grateful that you have a job. You see, there is hope only for the living. As they said, it's better to be a living dog than a dead lion. As long as you're alive, you can work to your best, to the best of your ability. Do you want to enjoy your work? Well, be grateful that you have a job. Be grateful that you have a job, because when hard times come, when people start losing their job, then you think about, oh, I wish I could just work. I wish I could just have an income. Be grateful. Like this man here in Singapore, he's self-proclaimed middle-class man. He earns 30,000 Singapore dollars a month. His wife earns $15,000 a month. And he said that he is not rich at all, Combined income $45,000 a month. He is complaining that he is not happy. He's not able to, he did not invest well. And all his life is all about wealth and money and investment and all that. No, you got to learn to enjoy what you have. See, gratitude, as I mentioned last week, is the key to your well-being and sustained mental health, heart health, and spiritual health. Gratitude is good medicine. In this textbook on the psychology of gratitude, written by Dr. Robert Emmons and Michael McAuliffe, they did a survey, a study, right? And they asked the participants to jot down a few sentences each week. And there are three groups of people that he tasked them to write. The first group is where they were asked to write down things for which they were grateful for. Second group was asked to do just the opposite. They wrote down the regular annoyances and frustration that occur in daily life. The third group were tasked to simply write things occur throughout their week with no specific focus on either positive or negative experiences. Guess what? The first group that were tasked to write things that they were grateful for. At the end of this research, after 10 weeks, they were markedly more optimistic and exhibited higher levels of enjoyment of their lives and their work. They also exercised more and visiting the doctors less. The other two groups, especially the second group, tend to visit the doctors more. They tend to report more sicknesses. They tend to be report to have depression and anxiety and all that. Hey, when Ecclesiastes 11 verse 7 says, when people live to be very old, let them rejoice every day of their life. If you're working, you can work, you rejoice, right? Light is sweet. Whenever there's daylight, it is sweet. How pleasant to see a new day dawning. Just enjoy your life, enjoy your work, go to work. And I post this on my Facebook this week, and I say, when you don't like what you do, you basically have two options. Either change what you do or change your liking. Don't stay in perpetual misery. Don't stay in perpetual misery. So, 4 keys to people who live a good life. These are the major consensus. In fact, in the psychological world, this is the way we measure a person, whether they are emotionally, psychologically healthy or not. The first measurement is that they have a good social life. Second measurement is that they have good occupation, or they are happy about their work, or they're giving their all to their work, right? Whatever that your hands find to do it to your best abilities. Number 3, keys to a good life is when you have appetite, the right appetite, to have food. Living the good life means we can enjoy our meals. We can enjoy our meals. A healthy diet throughout life promotes healthy pregnancy outcomes, support normal growth, development, and aging, helps to maintain a healthy body weight, and reduces the risk of chronic disease, leading to overall health and well-being. So the way we eat, what we eat is how we become. So learn to enjoy our food by learn to eat responsibly. Here in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 7, it says, go ahead, eat your food with joy and drink your wine with a happy heart, for God approves of this. So, hey, eat right, eat happily. God approves of this. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, Paul wrote this. He says, whatever you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. Hey, learn to enjoy what you do, what you eat, and learn to enjoy your meals, especially with your loved ones. Enjoy the taste of your food. After being away from Singapore so long, I really yearn for chicken rice. And when I had the chicken rice, I need to enjoy my chicken rice rather than hurrying, just eat and go, and then living my life meaninglessly. See, in Genesis chapter 9, verse 3, this is an interesting verse, especially for Asians. It says, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Asian eats anything that crawls, that walks, that swims, that flies. This is every living thing, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. As I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Genesis chapter 9, verse 3. Too bad, perhaps God did not create Adam and Eve to be Asians or even Jamaicans, because if they were Asians or Jamaicans, and I think Elder Pennell can testify to this, they will have the fruit and they will kill the snake and have them and deep fry it. This was my patient. She suffered from anorexia nervosa. She was just 27 kg. She's light because she did not eat because she think that she's fat at 20 kg, 27 kg. She thought she was fat. She didn't enjoy food. That's why she don't enjoy the good life that God has given to her. She was suffering from this disorder called anorexia disorder, and everything that she ate, she will push it out, whether to the mouth or to the back. She was just 20, she's just skin and bone, as you can see from this picture. So after months of therapy with me, this is how she looked like today. She, pretty girl, pretty young lady, and if she learned to really eat well, she can be so beautiful, and she was beautiful, and she is. And I'm really proud of her. And today she's a lawyer. She has just finished a bar, and she's a lawyer. And we were friends on Facebook. And then I asked her how she was doing, and I told her how proud I was of her progress. And she said, "I thank you. I cannot done it without you." And then I asked her permission for me to share her story with you guys. And then this was her reply: "I'm very well, thank you. How are you? I would be delighted for you to share my story. I'm very happy at the prospect of helping others through my experiences. Thank you so much for having me through my plight and for remembering me." When she was at this stage, she was an unhappy camper, never happy at everything. She's not learning how to enjoy what God has given her. So remember, the joy of the Lord is your strength. When you eat your food, whatever that you have, enjoy it, enjoy it. You will show me the path of life, David wrote in Psalms. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. So we need to be in the presence of God as we enjoy, our food. Enjoy with God, enjoy with the company of friends. People who live the good life have these 4 common consensus. Number 1, they have good relationships. Number 2, they are gratified, they are grateful for the jobs that they have. Number 3, they eat well. Number 4, they have recreation. They have time for recreation. In fact, if you look at the word recreation, you break them into 2, it becomes recreation. When you go on your recreation, you are actually recreating yourself. Living the good life means you are able to recreate your life, and you don't have to live in drudgery and in pain. And recreation is a form of good therapy. Here in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 10, he says, refuse to worry. Keep your body healthy. Remember that youth with a whole life before you is meaningless. So don't waste your life away. Now, that's what he's saying. Now, don't worry about everything. Trust God. But then more importantly, he said, keep your body healthy. Keep your body healthy. Can someone say amen to this, or type there in the chat and commit yourself? I will keep my body healthy. Because if you are not healthy, you are not living a good life. If your body is weak and you are not in your top shape of your life, you are never happy. You're not living the good life. You're not able to enjoy life altogether. Hey, type in there and say, I need to live the good life. I want to keep my body healthy. This is me. I showed this picture, I think last week or the week before. I was so out of shape. I was like, I'm short. If I'm fat, I'm round. I'm like a ball. You can roll me up and kick me like a football in the field. And I was not feeling as fit as I would like to be. I was tired. I wasn't very fit. And I looked myself in the mirror one day. I said, I'm not going to enjoy my life if my health is not healthy. And then I went to see the doctors, and I realized that I got pre-diabetes. I said, okay, it's time for me to live the good life. I want to live a healthy life. And so I keep myself healthy, and today I am at the right age for my right height. But I have a lot of recreation. I decided that it's not just about work, well, teach, eat, teach. It's about enjoying my life. It's about recreation. I need to set time to keep my body healthy. And so I decided to walk and run and exercise. And this year in June, when I celebrated my 62nd birthday, I walked 6 hours. I wanted to walk 6 hours and 2 minutes, and to make sure that, hey, I celebrated my 62nd birthday by walking 6 hours and 2 minutes. And I did it in 6 hours, 4 minutes. I walked over 8 miles, and it's about 12 km. It's slow walk, very slow walk. I walk and walk and walk and stop and drink my water, walk, have lunch, walk, and then have my coffee and then walk and go back. I started at 10. I finished about maybe 6 or 5 plus 5:30. Yeah, but maybe I start about 9. I can't remember what time, but it's 6 hours. I gotta walk. I gotta make sure that I remain healthy, because a healthy body represents a healthy mind. Healthy mind represents a healthy life. And after I got COVID, a week after I got COVID, I want to make sure that I am not going to suffer long COVID. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to make my body healthy. And so I went on a walk. After 1 week after my COVID, I walked for 5 hours. 10 kilometers altogether. I want to make sure that my lungs are breathing properly. I get all my energy right. And then I feel that, okay, I can walk for 5 hours, not too bad. And I am able to free myself, right? And in 2019, I think it was 2019, I took on the New York half marathon, and I ran a half marathon. I almost died, but I want to be healthy. And you know what? I did it. I completed. There are 2 marathons in America that you want to run in. There is the Boston Marathon and the New York Marathon. You see, when you sit quietly and do nothing, your brain is not going to be healthy. It's not working. After 20 minutes of walking, you know what? It does something magical in your brain. It starts to light up. Healthy life equals healthy mind. Healthy mind equals happy life. Right? These are the 4 keys to living the good life. Right? Sociability, occupation, appetite, recreation. If you have all these 4 things, you can soar in your life. Now, usually I measure patients who come to me, and I will ask questions that, do you have psychosocial support? Do you have social support, like friends and all that? If they say no, okay, something is not right, something that's not good. Do you have a job? They said, I don't care about my job. I quit my job. I don't want to work anymore. I don't care about my money. I don't care about anything. Well, something is not right, because occupation gives you, I forgot to mention, give you a sense of purpose to get up in the morning, so that you can move out. You can get up and go out and do something meaningful and productive. And I will ask them about their appetite. Can they eat well? If they lost appetite, they couldn't eat and all that, then something is not right. That means they're not living a good life. Are they able to exercise? Do they have time for recreation? No, I have no time for recreation. Well, then they're not living the good life. So among the 4, which of these 4 is not working for you, right? Whether it's S, whether it's O, whether it's A, whether it's you then do something about it. Do something about that area in your life that needs to work on. This is what Solomon said. This is how you can live the good life. All right, before I pass